Hello everyone, welcome back to the course on Instrumentation and Process Control. Myself Nidhi Mehta, Assistant Professor at Chemical Engineering Department, LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. So, let's just start our topic of second order system and let's just see the new topic which are the terms used to describe second order system, right. When we talk about second order system and spatially step input to second order system, there are three different cases depending on the value of zeta or damping factor. According to that, when the value of zeta or damping factor is less than 1, the system is said to be under damped. When the value of zeta or damping factor is greater than 1, the system is said to be over damped. And when the value of zeta is equals to 1, the system is said to be critically damped. Now, if my system is critically damped or it is over damped, that means it is stable and I need not to worry about it. The only thing where I need to put my concern is when my system is under damped, right. So, to explain the condition of under damped, we are having different terminologies and different definitions which we need to understand. So, as you can see in this particular list, there are 6 different terms which are used to explain under damped system. First one is overshoot, then decay ratio, rise time, response time, period of oscillation and natural period of oscillation. So, one by one we will see what do we mean by these terms and how it actually work or relate to under damped system. Now, in this figure or in this graph, as you can see, the graph is a representation of output of system with respect to time. Yt is the output given by any system or any second order system which is having step input as forcing function, right. So, this graph represents the output given by a second order system with respect to time. So, as you can see here 1.0, this is the ultimate value. Ultimate value refers to our desired output. This is the limit which we need to reach, right. So, this is our desired value and if you can see the graph, so the response of our system is in the sine wave, in the form of sine wave, that is sometimes it is going above the ultimate value and sometimes it is coming below the ultimate value. That is why our system is under damped. Under damped means it is showing oscillations, right. It is not giving us the desired values. Now, let us just see one by one what do we mean by different terminologies. Overshoot. Overshoot refers to how much our response exceeded the ultimate value, as you can see here. Overshoot is a measure of how much the response exceeds the ultimate value. Ultimate value is basically the value which we need at our output from the system, right. So, overshoot refers to how much our system output has exceeded the ultimate value. Suppose this is our desired value and if my system is giving me the output of this much. So, this difference from this particular desired to the output given by the system, this difference is the overshoot and that in this particular graph is represented as the ratio of A by B. And you can graphically represent it in the form of exponential of minus pi zeta upon under root of 1 minus zeta square. So, this is overshoot is the ratio of A by B. So, if you can see here This is the overshoot. This 1.0 is our desired value and A is the value which is undesired. 1.0, that is B. B is desired value, A is undesired value, right. So, the ratio of A by B is the overshoot, right. The next one is decay ratio. So, what do we mean by decay ratio? Decay ratio is basically defined as the decay in the size of successive peak or the ratios of successive peaks, right. How often the size of peaks are getting reduced, that ratio is termed as decay ratio, and it is represented in the form of square of overshoot. As you can see here, square of overshoot. This is equals to exponential of minus 2 pi zeta upon under root of 1 minus zeta square. Minus 2 pi zeta, that is you just need to add 2 here, right. Exponential, if you see the formula of overshoot and decay ratio, both are same. The only difference is just simply multiply 2 here and you will get the value of decay ratio. In this graph, you can see first peak is A and second peak is C. So, the ratio of C by A is a decay ratio, right. After that, we are having another term which is rise time. So, what do we mean by rise time? The time which is required by response to first reach the ultimate values, that time is termed as rise time. In this graph, this point, my response starts from this point and it is going up. So, when the response first touches the ultimate value, that time is the rise time. Now, the next terminology is response time. What do we mean by response time? Response time is basically the time required by our system to reach plus or minus 5% of ultimate value and remain there. That is, it is the time which is required by a system to get stability in the range of plus or minus 5%. It is denoted by radian frequency and it is under root of 1 minus zeta square by tau, right. Now, the next thing is period of oscillation. So, period of oscillation is radian frequency and its coefficient is given by this particular term. Now, the next term which we need to discuss is response time. So, what do we mean by response time? Response time is basically the time which is required by our system to achieve the stability in the range of plus or minus 5%. That time is response time. Next is period of oscillation. So, what do we mean by period of oscillation? It is basically a radian frequency and it is represented by the formula of omega equals to under root of 1 minus zeta square by tau, right. And frequency can be represented by 1 upon t and time here is 1 by 2 pi under root of 1 minus zeta square by tau. So, what do we mean by the term natural period of oscillation? The term natural period of oscillation can be represented as omega n equals to 1 by tau, because in case of natural period of oscillation we assume that there is no damping factor. That is why zeta, which is a damping factor, is removed from natural period of oscillation. So, these are the 6 important terms which are used to describe any underdamped system. After that, let us just see the next topic, which is transportation lag. So, what do we mean by the term transportation lag? The term transportation lag refers to the time delay, right. As the word itself suggests, lag refers to delay, and transportation lag delay in transporting something. So what do we mean by this? Whenever we are giving input, we will be getting output from other end of our system. But the delay in time or the delay which is being taken by the system to give us the output is termed as transportation lag. Once you give input, after how much time you are able to get the output, that time is termed as transportation lag. The time required by the system to transport from one part of the system to another part of the system. For this, let's just do the derivation to get the transfer function of transportation lag. Just consider this cylindrical vessel as shown here. So, in this, liquid flows through an insulated tube, and the tube is having cross sectional area of A, and the length of this tube is capital L. Volumetric flow rate remains same at inlet and at outlet. Xt and Yt, Xt is the input and Yt is the output, right? So let's just start. Initially the system is at steady state, so it is quite obvious that the temperature at inlet and the temperature at outlet will be same. So it is Xs equals to Ys. Now, if we provide some step input or step change at t equals to 0, so what will happen? Tau can be represented as volume of tube upon volumetric flow rate, that is the change would not be detected at the end until tau s later, means whatever change you are giving in the inlet side, it will be noticed at the outlet side after some particular time period, and that time period is mentioned here as tau s. Tau here is nothing but the time which required for that change to travel your system and reach at the outlet side. So tau is given by area into length by q. Now introducing this tau value there, so Yt equals to x into t minus tau. Once you introduce deviation variable, it will be capital Yt equals to capital X t minus tau. Just take inverse of that equation and you will get this relationship y of s equals to e raised to minus s tau x of s. Take the ratios of x of s and y of s. So, it will be output which is y of s upon input which is x of s equals to e raised to minus s t. So, this is the equation of transportation lag. Hope whatever we have covered today is quite clear. Thank you.